Next person we're talking about is Dave Hopkins. Dave is a soils professor at NDSU and going to share a little bit of information about soils. I think there's lots of information to talk about on soils and tiling, but my thinking is that if you meet these folks and see them presenting, at least you know who to talk to, who to call, and who to send your information, your questions to. Dave, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey. Hi, folks. Yeah, it's good to be here. I just want to make a couple points here in the sense about soils, and it has to do with soil properties and soil geography, and it has to do with the concept of soil survey interpretations and knowing your soil. So that's really where I'm coming from today. So in a sense, I'm probably only talking to 7% of you, or maybe 11% of you, or maybe 13% of you. But the trick is, you don't necessarily know who you are until you know your soils. And so I want to make a couple points about that today. Because part of the, everybody's got, this is a beautiful Fargo. The pictures aren't going to work, you guys can't see them, so you have to do the best you can. It's a beautiful Fargo profile here. We've got characterization data, which we call the physical and the chemical properties that we take on these soils. But when people map soils, they're out there actually digging holes, following their legends and doing the best they can to map landscapes, and that's the nature of soil survey from the early 1900s on. The physical and the chemical property data that we have to back up soil survey interpretations. When you go to, how many of you all have looked at Web Soil Survey? Let's see hands up high. See, that's less than 10% of this audience, and I just saw a soil scientist raise his hand, and you don't count, Dave. So the point is that, but how many have looked at soil surveys? How many have soil surveys? That's a pretty low number. It's a pretty low number. And the point is that the interpretations in all the various tables that you look at, physical and chemical properties, hydrologic properties, agronomic properties, yields, and all that stuff, they're all based on the characterization data that's taken at soil trenches and soil pits, and that's been taken for 50, 60, and so years in our National Cooperative Soil Survey Program. So the point is that this data is extremely expensive. It's hard to get, and you darn well better make sure that the people that choose where it's taken know what they're doing, because each hole in the ground is worth literally thousands of dollars when it's done. So my point today is that we've got three classes. The first, I'm going to keep this up here for a second. Soils are a three-phase system. There are solids, there are liquids, and there are gases. And there's a tremendous set of interactions that go on here. I was going to bring props, like old father did, but I'm not going to do it now. So just imagine, everybody here knows what spaghetti's like, right? What's spaghetti like? Is it complicated? Huh? What's it look like? Huh? Looks like spaghetti. Can you define it? Describe it for us? Is spaghetti simple, folks? Out of the box? Yeah. What does spaghetti look like after you cook it and you put it in a bowl? You get a little sauce on it and you try to eat it. That's what a soil is. The soil is like the cooked spaghetti, and man, you don't know where those strands are going. And that's the idea of the interaction of the three components, the liquid, the gases, and the solids in terms of the interactions. And so here I've got this Fargo soil, which is a very clayey soil, and if it weren't for the organic matter component in this soil, we wouldn't be cropping this valley. We would not be cropping this valley if it wasn't for the organic fraction in this soil. You all would never get a seed bed established. It's the aggregation, it's the wonderful properties that organic matter leads to that soil. And so what I want to point out is that some of our soils, when it comes to the chemistry, some of these soil properties are extremely important, and of course they change with depth. You can all see on the picture that organic matter is up in the upper part, except for some tongues, and obviously it doesn't go down. How many